So hello guys, how are you all doing today? It's good to see you all once again, and you're very welcome to my channel, Juliettsstyleglam. So I want to say thank you. I hope your weekend is going, I hope your day is going amazingly well. I also want to thank you also for your input on a couple of videos I have put out so far, and I'm thankful. So today I wanted us to talk about something quite interesting. Just a second. All right, so I wanted us to talk about something pretty interesting. I'm doing the review of the movie Fair Play. Now, if you all recall, so like I was saying, Fair Play is a movie that came out on Netflix, I think sometime in October. When I saw the movie in the beginning, I actually didn't think, I don't know, I walked past it simply because, well, the lady who played the protagonist, Phoebe, who had played in, what was the title of that show? It is also on Netflix. And so I was like, you know, and I think this is one of the things most actors fall for. When they get into a role, it's always difficult for you to see them in another role. And I think I'm one of those people who is guilty of that, you know. But then it came up in a discussion on my group on WhatsApp. And, you know, and they're like, okay, watch it. And I'm so very glad I watched that movie, guys, because, like, everything that happened in that movie, the movie, it built up, you know, because in the beginning you don't kind of get it, you're asking what's going on, but it builds up, you know. And so I'm so glad I watched that movie. And why I'm saying this is because of the fact that, you know, this is a movie that is actually, you know, in our time, and, you know, has not failed. In fact, the thing is, what showed in that movie is the reality of a lot of women, either married or in relationships. And it's the issue of a woman's success, and in having success in such a way that your partner doesn't feel threatened by it. And so I've talked about something similar previously, about the woman being successful and so what. I'll link it here also so you can see. And so I decided I was going to really, like, you know, I was going to review it, you know. Now, this couple seemed like, you know, they were doing good. Everything seemed to be going well. You know, they were kind of cute to watch. One of the dynamics I didn't understand was the office, but I you know, I then, you know, as the movie progressed, you know, it became apparent that, you know, there was a no dating rule, you know, in the office. Okay, so I was like, okay, fine, makes sense. I mean, you know, and then, you know, I also noticed something, and this is what a lot of women go through, trying to diminish yourself to make your partner feel comfortable. In the same movie, we noticed Emily each time going to talk to her fiance, give him, you know, hand, you know, tips, things to do, because she just didn't want to outshine him. And I'm going to, you know, I'm going to delve into it. And that was the first thing that was quite noticeable. She was uncomfortable with her success, where this person is. Now, mind you, in the beginning of the movie, the discussion was that, you know, he was going to get a promotion, and then she was going to get a promotion. It was that, you know, she was willing to put herself at the back burner. And this is one of the problems a lot of women face, you know, even to people that we're not, you know, even to people that we're not, men that we're not dating. You want to, you know, diminish yourself so that you don't feel kind of, you know, taking the whole space or taking the whole place, you know, and stuff like that. And genuinely, there are men who are highly uncomfortable with a woman's success. There are men who believe that, okay, you know, she shouldn't be talking. She should let the men, you know, with the big rollers roll. And this is the world we are living in. Now, moving on, we get to a spot where Emily was eventually given this promotion. And from the beginning, when she told him about the promotion, boom, he couldn't take it. He couldn't stomach it. He couldn't get it. Now, remember, like, if you look at the office, it was all guys. So Emily was the only girl, you know, in that office. Now, just very quickly, the movie was, because I mean, we have to give credit to whom credit is due. So this movie was directed and written by Chloe Dumont. Okay, she's the one who directed and wrote the movie. And so Emily is shining in a world dominated by men. Okay, and this is, you know, in my head, I'm looking at this, you know, in the sense of, okay, so this guy actually felt she couldn't last. I should be the one who should stay there. She can't stay. I mean, it's a male-dominated environment. They'll push her out or something. And so we see the dynamic play out. We see the relationship crumble totally. And I want to use this opportunity to say something here. If you are in a relationship with a woman, you must be happy for her success. If you know that you are going to start a relationship and you have a problem with the success of your partner, let her go. Let that person go. There is no point, because the level of toxicity that, you know, plays out, it's crazy. If you know that you have a problem with a woman's success, please, you have no business dating any woman. And I've seen this play out so many times, even with me. Even, you know, I remember Chimamanda actually made an allusion to this sometime, where she said, you know, she was talking to this guy, and each time the guy would address someone else, she gave him money, he would address. I have been in that situation where my husband and I are together, and I am the one actually, you know, being, you know, forward with gestures, and this person is not addressing me, but is addressing my husband. He's addressing my husband, is thanking my husband. I have been in that situation, and it is disgusting. I have to be very, very truthful. It is absolutely disgusting. I have seen, you know, situations where, and I'm this kind of person that I'm very perceptive. You know, my sense of perception is crazy. Your body language says it all for me. I don't need to go into details. Your body language alone, before you utter the statement that you're uttering, I already know where this person is going to with all of this crap. And this is the reality of a lot of women all over the world. Now, I recall I actually heard, or I was of the belief that before I moved here, in all honesty, I was actually of the belief that, things played out differently on this side of the world. Shocker. And I had the opportunity to have a discussion with a lady some time ago. We were talking about books, and we were talking about favorite books, and I talked about the fact that I really did enjoy reading the Secret Lives of Babasegi's Wives. And we got talking about this book. I can't remember the author of the back of my head, but I'm going to put the author of this book. If you haven't read that book, please go read it. And we talked and we delved deep into social issues that plagued, you know, our society. And she's French, and she actually, while we were talking, and there was something she said to me, and she said, you know, the funny thing, you always think that, these things happen elsewhere and it's not happening in another place. She said, well, it's quite apparent and it's obvious that it's everywhere in the world. And I was like, oh, wow. And it's true. If you assume that because you're in Nigeria and it's happening in Nigeria, in Africa, no, it's actually happening here. It's happening all over the world. It's not exclusive. It's everywhere. Women and toxic, toxicity of, of a man who cannot stand her success. And so moving on, we now go further into a scene that I'm so uncomfortable about, where Luke then forcefully with Emily. Now, anyone watching would have said, well, she consented. No, nah, she didn't consent. Recall that in the movie, she had been trying to get fresh with her fiance, remember? And he kept rebuffing her. He kept throwing her away. He kept pushing her away. And then boom, all of a sudden, she practically was begging Luke, to, have something to do with her. And he refused. He kept giving excuses after excuse. And then boom. So, it was quite, I had to watch that scene many times because, the first thing that came to me was like, no, this is not right. That was it. I'm like, no, it shouldn't be happening. But then it happened. And one thing I loved, listen, I'm not a violent person, but one of the things I loved was the ending when she actually pulled a knife on him. One may look at it as, well, that was a little bit, no, it's not extreme. And I love that scene. I think for me, that scene was the icing on the cake. I love that scene because she took her power back. She took what she was supposed to take back from him. Now, another thing that tripped me was in this movie was the fact that Luke actually thought he was the sauce. He thought he was the everything. The guy who played the boss, I need to get his name. The guy who played the boss in the movie, when a dose of reality falls on you, that was that dude. Oh gosh, I need to get his name. Eddie Marsan, who played Campbell. He was like, that guy was very, very, very blunt, and he did not give two about it. He was very blunt, and it was very clear to him, Now, get this, if you are with someone who does not fail to throw your dirty laundry out there, just know that you've been wasting your time for the longest time. You have no business being with someone you cannot trust. Now, one would say, oh, after all, they have been dating for a while, blah, 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 and all that jazz. Yes, but where his jealousy was uncontrollable, and then boom, everything flies out the window. He talks about the fact that he had been dating, they've been living together, all the things that would have made Emily lose her job. Jealousy, envy, and arrogance. His ego could not take it. And I tell you guys, there are so many men out there in the same thing. One would ask, well, how am I supposed to know a dude who's this way? It's simple. I keep saying things, I say this a lot to women and girls, that it's very imperative that you take your time to know someone. I can't buttress it enough. I've said it in a previous video where I talked about sex, and I'm going to put it here. Knowing your partner and all that jazz, I'm going to put it here. It's imperative that you take your time to know your partner. Some people do not know how to do it. Some people just, And listen, the longer you stay away from the cookies, the better you'll see clearly. And you are going to be, listen, and I keep saying that a lot of women actually are afraid to ask those tough questions. And in all honesty, those tough questions are actually the questions you should be asking. Okay? So you need to watch the person you're with in how you act. Your drive. Does your drive match his, or does his drive match yours? That's one of them. Does his drive match yours, or does yours match him? You will see all these things from the mannerisms. Are you a goal-getter? If you're a goal-getter, you have no business being with someone who's okay with just that. You have no business being with that kind of person. If you're someone who strives for success and you're someone who's on the move, doing things, getting shit done, you need to actually be looking for someone who's at the same level as you. Yeah. We've talked about this. This has come up in a lot of conversations and podcasts I have seen over time about women marrying up or down. Listen, Kiki Palmer went down. She just, put it, and it didn't work. And it's true. It's important that you actually find someone you are at par with. You cannot be a billionaire and be dealing with, a street boy. Nah, it doesn't happen. We've seen a lot of these things play out in Hollywood, wherever, Now, there was something on Vlad TV. I watched Vlad TV, and I was watching the podcast with Young Jock. Now, I had to give it to Young Jock. The guy is smart. And he said something. He said, a woman can't marry down, but a man can. And it's true. It's very true. It's very, very true. It's a psychology. That's how it is. A man can marry down. A woman can't. Because of the imbalance. And this is where fair play makes us understand why. This is the job fair play makes us understand. That a woman's success remains a threat to a man. I'm not saying that all men are like this. All I'm saying is that many men can't stand a woman's success. That said, if you are in a relationship or a marriage and you see yourself having this kind of thoughts or this kind of, impression about your partner, sit your partner down and talk to them. Let them know what what you feel. And let them understand that, their input, and not just their input, their support goes a long way. Listen, when you are married, I've said this before in another video. I'm going to look for the video and attach it here. When you're married, both of you are in sync. By virtue of both of you being in sync, listen, this person has to rub off on this person, and this person has to rub off on the other. If it is not happening, it can't work. You have to be in agreement, and you have to be able to lift each other up. Your husband is your drive, is your motivator. Your husband becomes your biggest cheerleader. And this thing it's a fact. It goes a long way. Watch most power couples, and they will always say the same thing. The husband, the cheerleader, the motivator. The wife, the same for the husband. You find that both of you will grow. In a situation where it's not happening that way at a point, and it's just the law of energy. It's just energy. It's how energy moves. If one is having a lot of energy and there is no power here. Wherever that one goes, it's going to stop, and at a point it begins to die. So I'm going to say it again, that, you know, couples, it's imperative that you actually, you know, be each other's cheerleaders, to grow, to push, as motivators, whatever, but be there. Be the person that creates room for your spouse to bloom, and not look for how to, you know, damp or kill or, you know, dim their light. A light, like a candle, boom, it goes and it keeps going and it keeps going. It spreads. And then why would you want to dim the light that can spread? And on this note, guys, this is my heartfelt review on fair play, and understanding that this is a real issue, and that, you know, it exists, and that women's success remain a threat, and that, you know, it should change. It cannot be the norm. It's a recipe for growth and not to kill. So on this note, do like, share, comment, and subscribe, and do not fail to share this video as well. Lastly, I have a WhatsApp channel and a Telegram channel. So if for any reason you can't be on, you know, you can't find my videos on YouTube, you can easily go to my Telegram and WhatsApp channels and see my videos over there. I'm going to drop the link in the description box below, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Thanks.